The Hunger Planet Arcanus was once full of life. Green fields, deep oceans, tall cities with flying cars. People were happy. Children laughed in the sky gardens. Food was everywhere. But that was a long time ago. Now the land was dry and cracked. Buildings were broken. The air smelled like metal and dust. Nothing green was left. Animals had died. Most people too. Zara walked slowly through the broken streets. Her legs were weak. She had not eaten for 3 days. She carried her little son Lino, who was even weaker. He was only 5, but his eyes looked tired like an old man. "Mama, I'm hungry," Lino whispered. Zara stopped. She opened a small cloth bag. Inside was only one piece of dry food, a protein wafer. It was hard and tasteless, but it could keep someone alive for a little longer. She looked at it. Then at Lino, without a word she broke it in half. She gave the bigger half to Lino. He ate slowly, his tiny hands shaking. Zara smiled at him, though her stomach burned with pain. "You are my strong little star," she said. Lino smiled back, but soon fell asleep in her arms. He was too weak to keep his eyes open. Zara sat down beside a broken wall. The sun was hot, and there was no wind. She closed her eyes. "Maybe. Just rest for a little while," she whispered. Then everything went dark. A loud sound shook the ground. The sky turned blue for a second, a strange, glowing blue. A ship was coming down from the sky. It was not from Arcanus. It was smooth, silver, and shaped like a bird. No one on this planet had ships like that anymore. People too weak to move still opened their eyes. Who could it be? The ship landed on the empty ground, not far from where Zara and Lino lay. Dust blew everywhere. The door opened. A man stepped out. He was tall, wearing a black suit with blue lights. His face was calm. He looked at the broken city. He looked at the people watching from windows, too scared to come out. Then he saw Zara. He walked towards her, slow and careful. He knelt down beside her. She was cold, her lips dry. He touched a button on his wrist. A small green light scanned her face. It beeped. Life signs detected. Female. Low energy. Near collapse. Then he looked at Lino. The child was breathing but very weak. Child is stable. Malnourished. Mother, near death. He opened a small pouch and took out a silver capsule. He placed it in Zara's mouth and pressed her jaw gently. The capsule melted fast, going into her body. After a moment, her eyes opened. "Where am I?" she whispered. "Safe," the man said. "You are not dying today." Zara sat up slowly. Her head was dizzy. Then she saw Lino. "My son." She reached for him. "He is alive," the man said. "Because of you." She looked at him. "Who are you?" The man stood. "My name is Kale. I come from a place far from here." "Earth?" Zara asked. She had heard stories of the blue planet. Kale nodded. "Yes. And I have been watching your world." Zara looked confused. "Why?" Kale's eyes were serious. "Because we need people like you." Before she could ask more, his wrist device beeped again. Red lights flashed. A voice came from the device. "Project Mother. Subject located. Initiate Phase 1. Zara looked afraid. What is that?" Kyle looked at her. "You gave your last food to your child. Even when it meant death for you, not everyone does that." "He is my child," she said. "Any mother would do the same." "No," Kyle said quietly. "Not everyone. That's why you are different." Zara felt a chill. Kyle turned to his ship. "There is a test. If you pass it, you and your son can live. And maybe, so can your world." Zara held Lino close. "What kind of test?" Kyle did not answer. He walked back to his ship and pressed a button. The ground around them began to glow. A strange dome of light rose around Zara and Lino. It hummed with energy. Kyle's voice came from the air. You will face fear, hunger, and choice. If you survive, everything will change. Zara stood up, weak but ready. I've already faced all that, she whispered, but she had no idea what was coming next. The stranger with the light dome around Zara and Lino was still glowing, silent like a sleeping star. Nothing moved. The air inside was warm, like a heartbeat. Time felt strange, like it was not passing at all. Outside the dome, Kale stood with his eyes closed. He was not just watching, he was listening, not with ears but with something deeper. His suit was connected to a mind net, sending data across galaxies. Subject: stabilized. A voice spoke in his ear, calm and robotic. Emotional strength, high. Survival instinct, exceptional. Possible activation ready. Kale opened his eyes. He was not just here to save Zara. He was here for something bigger. He whispered, Project Mother has found its seed. Inside the dome, Zara sat on the dusty ground. Lino was still sleeping. In her lap, his breath soft and slow. The capsule Kale gave her had made her feel stronger, but also stranger. Her mind was clearer now. Her body still hurt, but her thoughts moved fast, sharp like a blade. Why us? She whispered. Why now? Then the light around her changed. It began to move, like fog turning into pictures. She saw visions in the air. First, a planet full of green fields. Earth, children laughing, food growing in clean farms, tall towers powered by sunlight. No hunger, no war. Then, the vision changed. Earth was burning, cities falling, people fighting for food. Zara stood up, eyes wide. The light showed her a new scene, Kale as a boy, crying, beside a small body, his sister. She had died from hunger. A voice spoke from the air. Not Kale's, but something older, deeper. Earth found peace. But only after pain, only after someone made the first gift. Zara didn't understand. What gift? Then Kale appeared, walking through the light. Not a vision, the real Kale, stepping inside the dome. You saw it, didn't you? He asked. What is all this? Zara asked. Kale sat down across from her, calm and focused. I showed you Earth's story, because now your world is next. Zara looked at her sleeping son. You said something about a test. Kale nodded. I didn't come here just to help. I came to search for one person, someone who still chooses love over fear, someone who gives even when they have nothing left. Zara said nothing. Kale looked her in the eyes. You gave your last food to your son. No one else in this sector did that. Others stole, others lied, but you gave. Zara's voice was low. Because he is all I have. And that is why you're different, Kyle said. You're not just a mother. You're hope. He stood and tapped his wrist. The dome turned dark, like night. What are you doing? Zara asked. I am beginning the trial, Kyle said. The ground beneath her shook. The air grew heavy. Suddenly, they were no longer on the broken street of Arcanis. They were inside a vast, silent desert. No walls, no sky, only heat and silence. Zara grabbed Lino. Where are we? Kyle's voice came from the air. This is a test space. Nothing here is real, but everything you feel will be. You will not be harmed physically, but your mind and heart will be tested. Zara looked around. What do we have? On the ground appeared a small box. Inside, one energy capsule. Enough food for one person for 3 days. Zara looked at Lino. He needed it more than she did. You already know what to do, Kale's voice said. But the trial isn't just about hunger. Suddenly, in the distance, shadows began to move. Tall, thin creatures with glowing eyes. They didn't walk. They floated. What are those? Zara asked. Kale's voice answered. They are watchers. They do not attack, but they judge. Every choice you make, they see. Zara picked up Lino and the food box. She began walking. The desert had no direction, but something in her heart told her to keep moving. For hours, or maybe days, she walked. The sun never set. The sand burned her feet. She gave Lino half the capsule, saved the rest. On the second day, Lino fell sick. He had fever. His body shook. Zara cried. I can't lose him. Not now. She gave him her half too. She ate nothing. That night, the watchers moved closer. Zara looked into their glowing eyes. She saw her past, her sister dying, her friends begging for food, her stealing a can from a stranger to keep Lino alive. I did what I had to, she whispered. But the watchers didn't speak. They just watched. On the third day, Zara collapsed. Her vision turned black. She heard a voice. Not Kale's. Not her own. Would you still give, even if you had nothing left? She whispered. Yes. Everything went silent. Then, light. Kale stood beside her again. This time, he looked different, almost emotional. He touched her shoulder. You passed. Zara looked up, too tired to speak. Kale smiled. And now, we begin the second phase. Memories of Earth. Zara opened her eyes. She was lying on soft white grass under a golden sky. Birds she had never seen before flew silently above her. The air smelled sweet, like warm bread and rain. Lino slept beside her, his face peaceful. No pain. No hunger. Am I dead? She whispered. No, Kyle said gently. But this place is not real either. He stood nearby, hands behind his back, looking at the sky. This is the memory chamber. We're inside a shared mind space. I brought you here to show you something important. The truth about Earth, and the truth about what you're becoming. Zara sat up slowly. Why me? Kale looked at her. Because you remind me of someone. He walked over and sat beside her. Many centuries ago, Earth was just like Arcanis now. Dying. We had killed our oceans, poisoned our food. Hunger was everywhere. People turned on each other. Nations collapsed. My family, we were nothing special. Just poor people trying to survive. He paused. His voice grew quieter. One day, my sister fell sick. There was no food left, not even scraps. My mother, she had one last ration hidden under the floor. Just one. Zara listened closely. My sister begged for it. My father said to wait, to divide it. But my mother, she gave it all to my sister. Every bit. She smiled as she did it, then died in her sleep that night. Zara's eyes filled with tears. Kale looked up at the sky. That moment changed me. My sister lived. And later, she helped start a project that changed Earth forever. The Great Gift? Zara asked softly. Kale nodded. We called it Project Mother, inspired by women like my mom. And now, you. He stood and held out his hand. Come. There's more. The memory sky changed. They stood now inside a giant space station orbiting Earth. Machines hummed. Engineers worked in silence. Zara saw holograms of starving people across many planets. In the center of the room floated a strange glowing orb. What is that? She asked. The first biocore, Kale said. This device was created using mother DNA, a genetic code of selfless givers, people who chose others over themselves. He looked at her. That code lives in you now. Zara took a step back. You're saying I'm part of this thing? Kyle nodded. You passed the trial. The Watchers saw your heart. Now your DNA is ready. If you choose to continue, you can become something more. A feeder mother. What does that mean? She asked. Kale's face became serious. You will no longer eat. Your body will generate food for others. Your touch will heal famine. Your breath will grow crops. Your blood will feed the dying. But you will not be fully human anymore. And you will never taste food again. Zara was silent. Kale added quietly, It is a gift. And a curse. Zara looked at Lino. What about my son? He will live. He will grow strong. He will be protected. And one day, he will understand your choice. Zara sat down. She picked up a flower growing near her foot. It turned to dust in her hand. What if I say no? Kale answered calmly. Then we leave. You and your son go back to your broken world. I try again somewhere else. Zara looked at the sky. How many others have said no? Kale hesitated. 27. And those worlds? She asked. Dead, he said softly. Zara closed her eyes. I'm scared. Kale said nothing. After a long silence, Zara opened her hand. Then let me try. Kale touched his wrist device. A golden light surrounded her. DNA syncing. Biological shift beginning. Zara screamed. Not in pain, but in something deeper. Her body began to glow. Her skin became light. Her blood felt warm like the sun. She could feel everything. The grass, the air, every hungry soul on Arcanus. It was beautiful and terrifying. Her hair turned silver. Her heartbeat slowed. Kyle watched in silence. When the light faded, Zara stood tall. She was still her, but something more. Something ancient, something powerful. Lino opened his eyes and saw her. Mama? Zara smiled. I'm here, my love. He ran to her. She held him, though her hands now glowed faintly. Kale stepped back. Phase 2. Complete. The mother is born. But deep in the shadows of the memory world, something stirred. A black crack formed in the golden sky. Kale noticed it. No. Not now. Not here. Zara looked at him. What is that? Kale's face grew pale. Something that always comes after the mother is born. Zara held Lino close. Then we fight. The trial begins. Darkness was coming. Not the kind that steals light, but the kind that steals hope. Zara stood in the memory space, holding Lino, glowing with the power of the feeder mother. Her skin still shimmered faintly, her touch warm, like sunlight. But in the sky above, a black crack had opened, and it was growing. What is that thing? She asked, her voice steady but tense. Kale didn't answer right away. He looked at the crack, then lowered his head. We called it the Devourer. It's not a creature. It's not even alive. It's hunger itself. Zara narrowed her eyes. A machine? Kale shook his head. A shadow created by centuries of greed. It was born from dead worlds. It feeds on pain, fear, and sacrifice. It always finds the feeder mothers. It tries to break them. If it wins, their worlds fall. Zara looked at Lino. So now it comes for me. Kyle nodded. The final test has begun. The sky cracked fully open. From the tier came voices. Millions of whispers, crying, screaming, laughing, mocking. You will fail, they hissed. You can't save anyone. Your son will hate you. You will be forgotten. Then, from the dark rift, something emerged. A giant, shifting shape. Not one form, but many. It looked like her. It looked like Kale. It looked like Lino, dying in her arms. Zara gasped. It's using my memories. Kale activated his wrist device. I can hold the edge of the rift for a short time, but you must face it alone. I don't understand, Zara said. Face what? Kale looked at her with sharp eyes. Your worst self. The memory space shattered. Zara was no longer on soft grass or near golden skies. She was in her old village. The day the food riots began, flames burned around her. People screamed. Her neighbors fought over water. She held baby Lino in one arm and ran. But something was wrong. The fire didn't burn her. She turned and saw herself. Another Zara, angry, wild-eyed, holding a knife. I remember this, Zara whispered. This is the day I took food from that old man. I left him to starve. The shadow Zara stepped forward. You say you're a mother of hope. But you stole to feed your own. Zara backed away. Then more memory figures came. Her sister, thin and dying. Her father begging her to share food. Her best friend whose child died while she fed her own. Each face stared at her. Each voice whispered, "You chose. You survived." They didn't. Zara fell to her knees. I had no choice. The shadows closed in, but then she heard a heartbeat. Not her own, not Lino's. Something older, the heartbeat of life. Zara stood. Yes, I chose. And I would do it, again. But I'm here now, to be more than that scared girl. I'm here to give, not just to my son, but to everyone. Light exploded from her chest. The shadows screamed and pulled away. Her memory figures vanished, one by one. Not in pain, but in peace. The fire was gone. The sky cleared. Zara stood in the center of her old village, now rebuilt. Green. Alive. Kale appeared beside her. You did it, he said. No, Zara replied. I faced it, but it's not over. Kale nodded. You're right. The ground shook. From the ashes, the devourer's true form rose, a towering, black figure made of hunger and silence. Its mouth never opened, but it screamed into her soul. Kale handed Zara something, a seed glowing with light. This is the core, the future of Arcanis. You must plant it, but only if you can survive what comes next. Zara closed her fingers around the seed. The devourer raised its long arms. The sky dimmed. Hope flickered. Zara held the seed to her heart. Then she whispered, For Lino, for Arcanis, for the forgotten. The devourer charged. Zara ran. The final part of the trial had begun, not in her mind, but in reality. Back in the real world, outside the memory chamber, on the surface of Arcanis, the soil began to glow. Ships in orbit picked up massive energy. Surges.Kale's ship AI spoke. Planet core response detected. Mother protocol in motion. In a hidden lab across the stars, scientists watched the data with awe. We've never seen a trial phase survive this long, one said. Will she make it? Another asked. No one knew. But deep under the surface of Arcanis, a pulse began to beat, like the beginning of life, like the breath of something waking up, the beast of regret. The ground was shaking. Zara ran across the cracked earth of Arcanis, holding the glowing seed in her hand. Behind her, the sky was breaking open. Clouds of darkness rolled across the planet like waves. Lightning made of shadows struck the land. Every blast pulled color out of the world. The devourer was coming, not walking, not flying, just moving, like a storm made of thought and fear. Kale's voice echoed in her ear through the memory link. You must reach the Heartstone. It's where the seed must be planted. Where is it? She shouted. Follow the sound of your own heartbeat, he answered. She didn't have time to ask what that meant. From the cracks in the ground, strange creatures began to rise. Thin, white-skinned things with hollow faces and long arms. They moved like smoke, whispering words Zara couldn't understand. But she knew who they were. Regrets, memories, ghosts of every choice she ever made to survive. The faces of those she had passed, ignored, or outlived. People she couldn't save. She tried to run through them, but the shadows wrapped around her legs. They weren't hurting her. They were holding her still. Then the land around her twisted again. She was no longer on the surface of Arcanis. She was inside a giant black room, alone, except for the sound. Claws, scratching, dragging. Something was coming. Slow, heavy, breathing deep, like a beast that had slept for years and just woke up. Zara turned slowly, and there it was, the beast of regret. Its body was made of bones, ash, and fire. It had no eyes, just deep holes. In its chest were faces and dozens, all of them familiar. Her sister, her father, the old man she stole from, and her own face, crying. The beast took a step forward. The ground broke under its weight. Zara stepped back, holding the seed tight. "I don't fear you," she said. The beast growled, not in anger but sadness. Then it spoke, not with a mouth, but with her voice. "You said you'd save everyone, but you couldn't even save me." Zara gasped. "No." The beast showed her a memory. She was 10 years old, holding a loaf of stolen bread, hiding in a broken house. Outside, her little sister was crying, locked out, cold, hungry. Zara had stayed quiet. Her sister never came back. Tears rolled down Zara's cheeks. "I was just a child," she whispered. The beast moved closer. "And now you want to be more than that?" it roared. "You're not a mother. You're a thief, a coward, a liar." The voices around her echoed the words. Liar. Coward. Fake. Zara dropped to her knees. She clutched the seed to her chest. "I made mistakes," she said, "but I never stopped loving, never stopped trying, and I won't stop now." The beast paused. She stood slowly, her hands glowing brighter. "I regret what I did, but not who I am." The beast screamed and rushed at her. She did not run. She opened her arms. The beast crashed into her, and everything went white. She opened her eyes. She was lying in the center of a vast crater. The shadows were gone. The sky was clearing. The beast had vanished, but something had been left behind. A small stone, smooth and warm, pulsing like a heart. Zara understood. This was the Heartstone, the place Kale had spoken of. She crawled forward, still weak, and placed the seed inside the stone. It sank in. The ground rumbled, not in fear but in life. Green light rose from the soil. From the sky, Kyle's ship hovered overhead. His voice came through again. "You did it, Zara. The seed is accepted. The planet is responding." She smiled weakly. "And the devourer?" "Retreating," Kyle said. "It cannot feed on someone who has forgiven herself." Zara closed her eyes. Lino ran toward her, protected by Kale's drones. "Mama!" She held him tight. The ground beneath them began to bloom. Grass, flowers, trees. After years of death, Arcanus was waking up. But far away, in deep space, the devourer floated silently, watching, waiting, and something else was watching too. A new shadow, older than the stars. But that is a story for another time. The Mother's Choice Arcanus was alive. For the first time in years, the wind was soft. It carried the smell of fresh soil and new leaves. Tiny green shoots pushed through the cracks of dry ground. Animals, the small ones that had survived underground, came crawling out, blinking into the light. And in the middle of it all stood Zara. Her body was glowing softly. The seed she had planted in the Heartstone had taken root. The ground around her pulsed like a living thing. And the pain, the unbearable hunger, the shame, the regret, had faded. But something else had taken its place. A silence. A strange stillness inside her chest. Kale approached from his hovering ship, walking on light platforms that formed under his feet. Lino stood beside him, holding his hand, confused but smiling. "Mama's different," Lino whispered. Kyle nodded. "Yes, she is." Zara turned to face them. Her skin had changed, not in a frightening way, but in a way that felt not of this world. Her eyes glowed faintly gold. Her breath made the grass grow taller. "What's happening to me?" she asked. Kale took a breath. "You've entered Phase 3. You've survived the trial, defeated the beast, planted the seed. The planet has accepted you." "What does that mean?" she asked, even though she could already feel the answer inside her bones. Kale looked at her kindly but firmly. "It means you must now choose. Fully." He raised a small device. It glowed with 2 lights, one green, one red. "You stand between 2 paths," he said. "One, you remain as you are, Human, mother to Lino, free. You keep your body, your memories, your future, and you walk away. Arcanis will still grow, but slowly. Maybe too slowly. Zara nodded. And the other path? Kale looked up at the glowing sky. You become something more, not just a feeder mother, but the mother, the first eternal source. Your body will become part of Arcanis. Your thoughts will stay, but you won't be able to move, eat, sleep, or age. You will live through the land. You will feed millions, not just now, but for generations. Lino stepped forward. What does that mean? She won't come home? Zara dropped to her knees and hugged him tightly. It means I'll always be with you, Lino, but not the way you're used to. He frowned. But I want to stay with you. She kissed his forehead. You will. Every tree, every flower, every drop of rain. I'll be there. Kale placed the device in front of her. You don't have to decide now, but you must decide before sunrise. Zara nodded. He turned and walked away with Lino, giving her space. The sky slowly turned orange as the sun began to rise. Zara sat alone and thought. The wind blew soft memories into her mind. Her sister laughing, her son's first steps, the old man she failed to help, the woman she stole from who later forgave her, and her own mother's final words. A real mother gives even when there is nothing left. She looked down at her hands. They were glowing and shaking. Am I brave enough to give everything? She whispered. Her body was already changing. Her heartbeat slowed. Her hunger was gone. Even her fear felt distant, but the love remained, burning bright, unshaken. Just before dawn, Kyle returned. Leno was asleep in his arms. Zara stood tall. I've made my choice, she said. Kale's face remained still. And Zara looked at her son one last time. Tears rolled down her cheeks. I will become the mother. Completely. Kyle bowed, his head. Then let us begin. He placed the device in front of her. The red light blinked. Touch the green, he said. And let go. Zara knelt, kissed her son's forehead one final time, and touched the green light. The world stopped. Then, everything bloomed. Light burst from the ground beneath her. Her body lifted into the air. Her feet turned into roots. Her fingers became golden branches. Her skin melted into light. Her voice echoed like a song through the wind. I am the mother. I am the soil. I am the seed. I am the love that feeds. The ground shook, but not in fear, in joy. Across Arcanis, trees sprouted instantly, lakes formed. The air became rich and clean. Lena woke up and saw it all, his eyes wide with wonder. He pointed at a huge tree blooming in the distance. That's her, isn't it? He asked. Kale nodded. Yes, he said quietly. That's your mother. Later, across the galaxy, people would speak of Arcanis, the dead planet that came back to life in one night. They would come to study the miracle tree. They would eat its fruit, drink its water, breathe its healing air. And at the base of that tree, carved into living wood, were words written by a boy. She gave everything. And so we all live. The planet feeds years past. Arcanis was no longer a name whispered in sorrow. It was no longer a dead rock in the forgotten part of the galaxy. Now, it was called something new. The mother world. Where death once ruled, life now rose, in waves, towering trees with silver leaves stretched to the clouds. Their fruit glowed with healing light. Rivers flowed clean and rich, feeding every field, every village, every hand that had once begged the sky for mercy. Animals returned. Children laughed again. Cities began to rebuild, not with metal and glass, but with stone and song, grown with love from the land itself. And at the very center of this green rebirth stood the mother tree, a tree unlike any other. Its roots reached the planet's core. Its branches pierced the clouds, and at its heart was a presence, gentle, warm, always watching. Zara, she no longer had a body. no longer spoken words. But she was there, in every breeze, in every petal, in every fruit that saved a life. She had become the heart of Arcanus, and the world was feeding. But peace does not come without challenge. Far across the stars, on the red moon of Zarian 5, a group of explorers landed. They had heard rumors of Arcanus, a planet where food grew from thought, where wounds healed with wind, where crops never died. They were not scientists. They were not farmers. They were harvesters, planet thieves, mercenaries, parasites who moved from world to world, stripping anything that grew. They looked at Arcanus and saw only profit. "This place will feed 1,000 systems," said the leader, a man with eyes like cold stone. "What about the source?" another asked. He pointed to the map. "The mother tree. We take it, we break it, we use it," they launched. Meanwhile, Lino had grown. Now a young man, he lived in a floating house built into the canopy of the mother tree. He spoke to the land through meditation. The roots answered. The fruit bloomed when he sang. People came to him with questions, and he helped them. Not as a leader, not as a priest, but as the son of the mother. And that morning, he felt something wrong. He woke with sweat on his face. The leaves outside were trembling. He rushed to the center of the tree where a glowing heart pulsed. Not quite a voice, not quite a light, but his mother. "Mama," he whispered. "What is it?" He heard the response deep in his bones. Danger. Fire. Greed. He grabbed his staff, a living branch gifted by the tree itself, and sent out a pulse. All of Arcanus felt it. The guardians came, people and creatures, bonded with the tree, warriors of light and root, born from the soil, protectors of peace. They formed a circle around the mother tree. Then the ships came, black, sharp, unnatural, cutting through the air like knives. The harvesters landed. "Step aside," their leader said. Stepping down onto the green soil, Lino stood in front of the tree. "You don't understand what this is," he said. "I understand perfectly," the man sneered. "One tree, endless food, eternal power. You're standing in front of the galaxy's greatest resource." Lino shook his head. "No, you're standing in front of my mother." The leader raised a weapon, "Then she dies first." He fired, but the blast never reached the tree. A root shot from the earth, fast as lightning, and caught the energy, mid-air. It turned the blast into pollen. It fell like snow. The harvester stepped back, confused. The ground trembled. A voice, not loud, not cruel, but ancient and final, whispered through every tree on the planet. "No more hunger, no more theft, not again." The roots of Arcanus rose up, not to destroy, but to remember. They wrapped around the invaders' ships, not crushing them, but showing them memories. Every starving face, every burned planet, every child who cried, under a black sky. The harvesters fell to their knees. They dropped their weapons. They wept. Later they left, not in fear but in shame, and they told others that Arcanus was not a planet to be taken, but a soul to be honored. Lino returned to the mother tree. "They're gone, Mama," he said softly. "We're safe." The tree pulsed gently. A flower bloomed in his hand. He smiled, and in that moment across Arcanus, a whisper moved through the air, into the minds of every farmer, every healer, every child. "Feed others as I fed you." Hundreds of years later, Arcanus is now a pilgrimage world, a place where the hungry come, not just for food, but for healing, for wisdom, for connection. They walk barefoot to the mother tree. They touch the bark and feel warmth, and they tell the story of a woman named Zora, a mother who gave her last meal and became a world.